Good morning. Welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. We are so happy that you've chosen this sanctuary in time. That you're here is something we celebrate. We extend an especially warm welcome to our visitors. We'll be waiting to chat with you at the welcome desk after the service. Remember, we were all newcomers once. If you're joining us online, please say hi in the chat. We now invite everyone to rise and greet each other.
Good morning. Today I have just a few announcements. The first is that July 6th is the annual Dear Reverend Rose sermon. This means that you have 2 weeks from today to submit the questions that you'd like me to answer anonymously from the pulpit. You can email them to me or submit them in the weekly email, and please don't hold back. Today's sermon is a special one because it was co-created between Tina Kolm and myself, who bought the sermon topic at the church auction. This means that she provided me with an idea and inspiration for the service. It's been a lovely process that I'll tell you more about during the sermon.
You are invited to a historical timeline presentation on the history of the land and the people who once occupied the space we now call Shawnee Mission UU. This historical timeline dates back hundreds of years and ends at present day. This presentation will be shared by Chuck Burgee on next Sunday, June 29th at 12 p.m. in the sanctuary. Also, today is our first Tall in the Fall listening session at noon in the multipurpose room. During this time, we will review this past year's goals and begin setting new goals for the next church year. Your perspective and voice is so valuable to this process. Snacks will be provided as well as childcare if you need it. If you are not able to attend today, there will be another listening session in July. Thank you.
And now, do we have an announcement from the hospitality team? Yes. Okay, great.
Hello, my name is Annette, and I am on the hospitality team. For those of you that don't know what that is, we are the people who greet at the doors, take the collections, make coffee, put out snacks, and clean up afterwards. Our goal is to make Sunday morning as great of an experience for everybody as we can do. And I think we do a pretty good job. But we are lacking members. If we had a sufficient amount of members in our group, the commitment would be like one Sunday a week. Maybe one Sunday a week you help with collection. I mean, one Sunday a month, excuse me. One Sunday a month. Yeah, one Sunday, I mean, for some people right now, it's one Sunday, I mean, it's every Sunday. So what our goal is to have enough people so that it would be once a month. And then we would also have a smaller group where it was not every month, like the fifth Sunday, maybe there's 4 times a year. So the commitment is not huge. The work is fun. It's not overwhelming. We would do training, of course. Unfortunately, right now, I do not have my sign-up sheets. Hopefully next week I will have, and I'll have sign-up sheets on the table out here, and we'll have some in Fellowship Hall. And maybe, but if you want to tell me that you're interested, I can take your name until that time. But we really do need help, and it really is important. I mean, it's an important job in the church to just kind of make Sunday go smoothly. Make sure there's coffee, make sure there's food, make sure there's snacks, make sure that things are clean. So thank you very much for thinking about joining us.
Each Sunday, we ring a ringing bowl to mark the time between the announcements and the call to worship. Our call to worship today comes from author Adrienne Marie Brown in her book titled Emergent Strategy: Shaping Change, Changing Worlds. She says that it is healing behavior to look at something so broken and see the possibility and wholeness in it. Come, let us look at what is broken and see the possibility and wholeness in it. Please rise as you're willing and able for hymn number 311 in the gray hymnal, Let It Be a Dance.
Good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May our heavens dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind, out we go again. Let it be a dance.
As Lucas comes forward to light our chalice, we invite you to join us as we recite our covenant. Let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and the service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus we covenant with one another. I'd like to invite all the children forward for Time for All Ages. Welcome. Hello again. Good to see you. All right. Today we are learning about creativity. Who can tell me what it means to be creative? Yeah?
You like make stuff and make crafts
Making crafts, making things, yes.
and use your imagination and stuff like that.
Yeah, use your imagination. Great job.
To come up with an idea not already present in your life.
Oh, I love that. To come up with an idea that isn't already present in your life. I love that. Yes.
Be creative can also be like helping somebody by your own way.
Yeah, helping someone in your own way. Yes. All right, one more.
Like making crafts and making something that didn't exist, but you use it in your imagination.
Yeah, creating something that didn't exist before.
And you also can imagine that you have imaginary friend if you're alone.
Yeah, imaginary friend. I had one when I was your age. Yes, Lucas.
Kind of like if you're running out of big bobbers and your weight is too big,
Uh-huh.
so you just use a bunch of tiny bobbers.
Well, yeah, Lucas is a fisherman, and he has a creative idea if you need a weight or a bobber and you don't have one. All right, that's wonderful. What are a few ways that you like to be creative? I want to hear from some other children. I know you have ideas. All right, it's all right. Ellie, I know you're creative because I've seen you be creative.
Yeah, making art, just any form of art.
Mm-hmm.
That's an outlet for creativity for me.
Yeah, and you like to, which is it, knit or crochet?
Crochet.
Crochet. All right. Yes, how do you like to be creative?
I like to do art and like play by myself and have an imaginary friend. And her name is Lily.
Lily is your imaginary friend. So fun. Lucas, how do you like to be creative?
I threatened fish to try to make it like let go of the hook in its lip.
Yeah? Like mind control? That is very creative. All right, one of my favorite creative people was an artist and educator, and her name was Sister Corita Kent. She was a nun, and she taught art at the Immaculate Heart College in Los Angeles, California, in the 1960s and 70s. She understood the importance of creativity as a spiritual practice. She used creativity to create art to educate people around the issues of the day, poverty, racism, war. Creativity was her tool for imagining and designing new systems that worked towards peace and justice. She understood that creativity is a practice that some people find it hard. It's hard to be creative sometimes, and that sometimes we're just out of practice. So her first year art student, she had all these activities to help engage and to strengthen their creativity. And I wanted to share one of those with you. This one, I'm gonna pass these around. Can you pass these around? Yeah, so take one and then give it to the next kid. Thank you. Give me one. Thank you. All right, at your seat is what she called a finder. And it's kind of like a camera lens. You place the small window in, if you kind of stretch your arms out like this. And there's just, she believed that if you're struggling to be creative, it's helpful to take the world in small pieces. And that part of the creative process is learning to see with fresh eyes. We usually have fresh eyes when we enter a new space. For example, the first time I visited this sanctuary, I looked around and I was like, there's a lot of blue. I wonder if you use like blue. There's a big giant stage. I wonder if this church has, have performances up there. But after a while, I've been here a while, and I don't really notice things as much as I used to, and I'm not as curious as I once was. So finders can help us look at the world in small pieces, which helps us to see with fresh eyes. So let's practice. Place the finder out in front of you, like this. And I want you to take a few minutes to look around the sanctuary and see if you notice anything new. Go slow, pausing. All right. I should have planted something. All right. Children, did you notice anything new when you were looking around the sanctuary? Yes. Yeah, so everything's new to you. First day. Yes. A whale, the chalice looks like a whale tail with leaves on it. I love that. Ellie. There is something boarded up above there. I wonder if it used to be a window. Maybe the former minister used to rappel out of it. We should maybe open it up. Yeah. See, that was wonderful, and it led to some very important questions. Yes?
I saw something blue on that camera over there.
Yeah? Oh, on the projector, there's a blue light? I've never noticed that before. That's great. All right, yes, Ben. You saw an ant? Wow. Your finder works really well. All right, so in those moments when you're not really feeling creative or you're feeling bored, use your finder, take it with you on a walk, take it to a park, and I know that you will see new possibilities. All right, thank you. Today, Ellie is gonna, since I'm staying in the service, is gonna help walk you to your classes. Please sing us out.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
All right, you're getting a lot of me today. I have a themed reflection on creativity. In the fall of 2022, when I first started here, Rev Rose introduced me to the concept of a liminal space, a state of being in between. Liminal spaces act as spaces for transition and transformation, like an elevator that carries you from one floor to another, or a chrysalis, an in-between phase in the metamorphosis process where the molecules of a caterpillar are completely rearranged to form a butterfly. Many spiritual stories and traditions involve liminal spaces. Jesus' time in the wilderness, decorative ofrendas in Mexico, thresholds for the dead to pass through to celebrate with the living, coming of age ceremonies. Most of my educational career, I've believed that learning and transformation takes place in the in-between spaces. Knowledge grows in the space between asking questions and finding answers. Possibilities grow in the space between your imagination and the things you create. Social movements grow and are sustained in the space between theory and taking action. Today we are discussing creativity, and I believe creativity is a liminal space, or exists in liminal spaces. I'm still working on this theory. Creativity thrives when our senses are open to new possibilities and perspectives and when we ask new questions. But being creative is not comfortable. It's a vulnerable space. And it is clear from our socio-political state that many people find great comfort when things stay the same and when others tell them what to think. Churches are often considered liminal spaces, thresholds between the mundane and the sacred. But the church I grew up in was not creative. I was taught that the Bible was literal. There was no room for metaphors or allegories. There was no need to ask questions or consider multiple interpretations. No need to imagine and create a kingdom of heaven on earth. Heaven was beyond our imagination, and it existed somewhere else. It's all making sense to me now why the moments when I was saved and baptized felt more like formalities than moments of transformation. Cardinal James McIntyre, who once served as the Archbishop of Los Angeles, also feared creativity. When he asked Sister Creta Kent, who made those finders, when he asked her to choose between creating radical art and remaining a nun in the church he oversaw, she chose creativity. UUism and this church, this community, has been a liminal space for me. My time here has felt like an invitation to be creative in my spiritual pursuit. During my first week, Rev Rose showed me her library, encouraged me to make time in my workday to read, ask questions, and be creative. In the past 3 years, I have explored liberal and eco-feminist theologies, radical Catholicism, and earth-based spiritualities. I've created altars in my home and in my garden. I learned to pray the rosary, but created new Our Father and Hail Mary prayers to better reflect my beliefs. I've imagined forest spirits on walks with my son and created portals in the sanctuary, in the fellowship hall. There's some that you don't know about, maybe, that you'll discover later. I have been transformed by these experiences. But even when we are okay with being uncomfortable, maintaining a state of creativity is hard. There are so many screens and so much terrible news on these screens to distract us. It's hard to leave space nowadays to imagine new possibilities. Sister Creta knew this, and that's why she created Finders, to help us block out distractions and the mundane and see with fresh eyes. There are so many ways to be creative. But I want to challenge us today to be creative in our beliefs. Spiritual beliefs, scientific, political, economic, artistic. If we create space between our current ideas and new ones, this church will continue to be a place for transformation. Thank you.
We come to this place to see and be seen, to teach and be taught, to hear and be heard. I invite you to reach over and nudge the person sitting next to you, reminding them and yourselves that we are gathered together in peace and in authenticity and in intention. We also come to this place to share our joys and sorrows. If you have a rare joy or a profound sorrow, please come forward and briefly share in 2 to 3 sentences and light a candle.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Fouquet. There are always sorrow for things happening in the world. We won't be here this next weekend, but it will be my wife and I's 23rd anniversary, and every year has been a joy.
I have an unusual joy. A friend of mine that I used to work with, Andy Brigger, won Jeopardy on Friday from St. Paul, Minnesota. Andy Brigger, social studies teacher. Did you ever have him? Yeah.
I'm Alyssa, and I just have a candle of gratitude for all of you. I have gone through a lot, and I cannot get over the kindness and generosity of the people of this church. You have done so much for me, and I don't know how to repay any of you, but I thank you for your kindness and support. You've meant a lot to me. You're my other family.
Okay, Azar. All I can say is in this time of turmoil, remember Gaza. I have a feeling all this is to make us forget that.
Hello, my name is Curtis, and this is a candle for joy and sorrow. My sorrow is my kids moved out of my house, you know. They grew up and they flew the coop, and it's been nice. Things stay clean. The last apple is never eaten, right? It's things like that. But my son's moving back into my house, and I'm so joyful that I can have this safe space for him, considering his high school career. So it's a really joyful moment for me to have my son come back and live inside my house.
My name's Annette. This Thursday, June 26th, Kurt and I will be celebrating our 49th wedding anniversary.
My name is Ed Dolan, and I want to share with you both a joy and a sorrow. And the joy and the sorrow is around a conversation that I had with Jen before services started. And in that conversation, Jen said, "You know, Ed, was that you I heard say boo last week when I announced that I was leaving?" She said, "I couldn't tell if it was you or John Young." I said, "Well, I'm honored to be in that company of John Young. But what you heard was a boo-hoo. We were crying because you were leaving, and we still cry."
I'm Vicki Miller, and I want to share a joy. On Friday night, we had a summer solstice celebration, and boy, I want to thank the women that put the time and energy in putting that together, because it was wonderful, and it really filled my spirit, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate what you've done. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Montier, and I'm from the UU in Jefferson City, Missouri. My father recently passed away. It's still fresh, but he was one of the founding members of our church, so I just wanted to honor him today.
I light the remaining candle for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. Please sing with me.
We hear your words, we witness your life in all of its heaviness, in all of its brilliance, and we carry your joys and sorrows in a shared heart.
Let us take a moment to come more fully into this space. Perhaps putting your feet flat on the floor, closing your eyes, whatever makes you feel comfortable and embodied. Let us let the bustle of getting here melt away a little. Today I bring you a meditation on the earth seed theology of Octavia Butler's Parable series. Everything we touch, we change. And everything we change changes us. Everything we touch, we change, and everything we change changes us. In a few minutes, we will be singing a hymn that's based in the Buddhist practice of loving kindness. So to prepare ourselves, I invite us to think of those in our world who live in fear of violence, fear of bombs and war, fear of ICE and family separation, loss of health care, and poverty. Let us hold in our hearts all who are suffering as we sing.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. And may all be happy.
Our first reading today comes from, again, Adrienne Marie Brown from her book, Emergent Strategy. Remember, you are water. Of course you leave salt trails. Of course you are crying. Flow. If there happens to be a multitude of griefs upon you, individual and collective, or fast and slow, or small and large, add equal parts of these following considerations. That the broken heart can cover more territory. That perhaps love can only be as large as grief demands. That grief is the growing up of the heart that bursts boundaries like an old skin or a finished life. That grief is gratitude. That water seeks scale, that even your tears seek recognition of community. That the heart is a front line and the fight is to feel in a world of distraction. That your grief is a worthwhile use of your time. that your body will only feel as much as it is able to, that the ones you grieve may be grieving you, that the sacred comes from limitations, that you are excellent at loving.
This View Gives Us Power is a poem by Lucaza, a Black queer educator, activist, and artist from LA, who was recently commissioned to recreate Karita Kent's Finder tool, the one at your seat. This poem is written on the back. This view gives me agency. This view gives us power. This view has a relation to me, a relation to we. This view has a story demanding for us to tell. This view is active, changing, becoming. This tool invites us to think of the relational and active parts of the world around us, to pay attention to get active within it, to demand, to speak, to be empowered. This tool is activated by me.
I could have done that, say people at the art museum. Well, why don't you? I'm not artistic, they say. I don't have a creative bone in my body, they say, after having never really been given an arts education. Which of course does not mean learning just the techniques, but it also means building the internal capacity to exist in the in-between, in the liminal space before the creation comes. For art making requires of us a risk, a willingness to exist in process, unformed while forming. Art making asks us to be changed as we change the course of the world through our expression and beauty. This is the very core tenet of a theology I want to talk about today, which is called process theology. Process theology teaches us that everything that exists is in an eternal process of growing and becoming. And for theists, this extends also to God. For in process theology, God too is thought to be changed by and in relationship to the rest of the interdependent web of all life. And that we all are in relationship with, reacting with, growing with, and changing with all that exists. Us together living bound up on the ever unfolding precipice of reality, as everything we touch, we change, and everything we change changes us. What I really love about this theology is that it supports the natural laws of science. Earlier, I referenced Octavia Butler and her parable series. We've done a class on those series here at SMUUCh and read the parable of the sower and the parable of the talents. In these books, there's a character named Lauren Olamina. And I love this explanation of her spiritual life. It says, her God is a process, or a combination of processes, not an entity. Some of the faces of her God are biological evolution, chaos theory, relativity theory, the uncertainty principle, and of course, the second law of thermodynamics. Process theology weds our science and liberal religion when we come to understand that this changingness of all existence is what is holy, and that we are also always, therefore, in relationship with what is sacred, shaping and being shaped by life and existence itself. Butler said that we are the life that perceives itself changing. That all that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. We are all constantly in process, growing, affecting, pinging off each other down to the very atomic level and up to the largest galactic level. And perhaps this ability to perceive ourselves changing is to live in that space of becoming, of learning, and of co-creating. Perhaps this space is fundamental to us to be tapped into our artistic and creative selves, however that art looks. Do you make art? Have you ever made art? Who makes art? Could you have done that? Why didn't you? Could you expand your definition of art? Because art takes so many shapes, like the child who said he would take a bunch of little bobbers if he didn't have a big bobber here during Time for All Ages. Art is present anywhere that we open up ourselves to be in process and allow ourselves to change and be changed. It is present in our willingness to engage in a process of risk and vulnerability. I was thinking about this a lot this week because when my dentist told me that she chose dentistry because it is an art form, she said that shaping teeth and seeing people's beautiful, realistic smiles, for her, is an art form. It got me thinking about all the ways that we live into our aliveness when we see ourselves as creators and co-creators with the world. It imbues us with a mantle of awareness and ministry in this life, allows us to lean into our fuller potential as people whose lives and actions shape what in turn will shape us. In this way, process theology has a karmic value. What goes around comes around. But even more so, what you change about the world will change you too in the change-making process. In fact, one of the most beautiful interpretations I've ever heard of what it means to take God's name in vain is this. If we liberal religious people interpret God as this incredible dynamic reality of all that exists and all that is possible, then to say that this is just the way it is to take God's name in vain. In other words, how you disgrace the holy is to take from it its ability to transform. How you disgrace a person is to take from them their ability to transform. Which, interestingly, is the chief feeling that people who experience depression feel. From within a space of depression, people speak often of that sense that this is just how it is. There is a deadness, a sense that there's no ability to grow or change? How might we consider the connection between our sense of aliveness and our understanding of ourselves in process, not as something simply to aspire to, but as the law of the universe? And how might our aliveness be connected to our willingness to create art even though it's scary? For there is a tension and a liminality, a space between when we have a desire to create something and when we have made it. That space between is a tender space, in a vulnerable space, a risky space, in a scary space. There are so many distractions and such a lack of support around the artistic process that it's hard to imagine what type of community or support we could really find. Or at least it's been very hard for me to imagine that. But when I went over to Tina's house to talk about the sermon, she said, let's do some planning for half an hour, and then I have some art planned in the basement. My heart perked up. Someone is going to facilitate the process for me. Suddenly, an opening. We went downstairs, and she had three huge white pieces of paper tacked to the wall. One for me, one for her, and one for her husband, Greg. She had paintbrushes affixed to the end of very long sticks. And she read to us from a book that we were to undertake an activity called automatic drawing, which entailed standing in a wide-legged stance with 1 foot forward, leaning, and then simply not thinking and letting the brush do the painting. We were instructed to, quote unquote, draw with no plan, no purpose, no conscious control, to begin generating line and mark in a seemingly random fashion. So you would move forward, make a marking, then step back and consider, and then move forward, make a marking, step back and consider. She put on acoustic renditions of the Beatles, and I gave myself permission to simply be in process for 30 minutes, to let the art work on me. And it was a lovely headspace, open and engaged and curious and excited. When the time ended and we stepped back finally to talk about and look at all of our pieces, she specifically asked us to notice if any part drew us in. I felt that this blocked off time was a kindness to me in a life so packed with work and motherhood. It helped me feel once again that I'm not a static being who struggles with her artistic process, but rather it felt like sort of an artistic healing that has allowed me more interest in the liminal space of formation that I am in reality always inhabiting. Because I did feel changed by the paper, and that the paper changed me, and that in that exchange there was something holy that I made be holy because I made something and in turn was knit up. I did feel that I had engaged in healing behavior and that I witnessed some wholeness unfolding. And actually, I brought the art I made and I put it up in the art gallery, which just so happened to be empty this morning, behind this wall, for anyone who's interested in looking at it and just noticing what part of it draws you in. Let's get our viewfinder out one last time. Hold it up in front of you. And this time as you look, I want you to only notice what you see that draws you in. Light and shadows. What a lovely question. What in this world calls to your spirit to engage? What in this tiny view is calling you to render it, describe it, notice it, appreciate it, What is calling out to you to bind yourself up in a sacred process of becoming? What would it be like to view yourself as capable of holy artistic work? To view that everything you touch, you change, and that everything you change changes you? What is it like to have a view that gives you agency? A view that gives us power? A view that is in relation to me, in relation to we? What is it like to have a view that has a story demanding for us to tell? What is it like to have a view that's active, changing, becoming?
The work of the church depends on us, our generosity of time, wisdom, and financial resources. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise as you are willing and able for our closing hymn, number 1017 in the teal hymnal, Building a New Way.
We are building and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without peace, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
This week, as you look around and you see what is broken, see into it the possibility of wholeness and healing. Go in peace.